Hello, my name is Mike, and I am a photographer, and I live in a van. Am I in focus? Yeah, I'm in focus. And I have questions. I'm not the hottest with interior design, so I need a little help on how to do things. Here's what I know so far. Here's what's going through my head, and I didn't really want to have any preconceived notions on what I was going to do on the inside of this van until I actually had it. I didn't draw out any like crazy plans or anything like that. I just kind of left it for the day this thing got here. This thing's been here for 2 months now, and now it's time to start laying this thing out. Now, I'll say this in the beginning. This is a primal build. I took a page out of the minivan guys, the minivan nomads, and built it where it lies. And that's exactly where it is today. I'm calling it a primal build because it is primary and it is just enough to get going. It is winter in New Mexico. I am not building a van in the cold because I hate being cold. So I had a primal build, got it going, and left it at that. I put in a wood-burning stove, a diesel heater, and I am not removing the heat for this van. Not in a million years. Because if it gets cold enough, a wood-burning stove may not do it. If it gets cold enough, a diesel heater may not do it. If it gets cold enough, you may need a tertiary form of heat. I learned that one with the RV I used to have. So, as far as layout is concerned, this is what I'm thinking. This van, this school bus, I keep calling it a van because van is a colloquial term. And the subsets are vans, sprinters, cars, minivans, travel trailers, utility trailers. There's so many different sections of it. I chose a bus because it is the most room for what I can get, and I don't travel that much. I travel maybe twice a month, 3 times a month on a busy, because the whole thing where the sprinter guys are driving every 2 weeks and they have to move every 2 weeks and they're constantly looking for it, just doesn't work for me. I need something a little more stable. And since I'm going to buy a piece of land and I'm going to park on it and I'm going to travel when I want to, that's where that lies. That's why I chose a school bus. If that helps as far as you making your choice, hopefully it does. Because there was a lot back in 2017 of information that just wasn't out there. So here's what I'm thinking as far as layout. This is a school bus. A school bus is an exoskeleton. I'm a science guy, former EMT, the family of medicine, so everything is down to anatomy and physiology terms for me. This bus is an exoskeleton, and I'm noticing that because I'm new to van life. This is an exoskeleton. It's full support and bracing comes from the exterior structure, external structure, which I'm finding out is different from RVs, which I had a Class B RV. That was front half was a van, and then the back half was made of wood. So it was a standard European design, European construction standard housing, and I didn't like it. The school buses are fantastic. I love them, but they're all based on the same Eastern European layout. With walls and really thick walls and a bathroom, a separate bathroom and a hallway, and everybody's school bus looks kind of the same, and I don't want to do that. I want, since this is an exoskeleton, because if you look at an RV, the bathroom wall comes out, the kitchen wall comes out, the bedroom wall comes out because they provide structural support. In my RV, it was clearly evident that those walls were structural support for the ceiling. The ceiling on an RV is trash. Hate to say it, but the RV ceilings are trash, absolute trash, and they sag, but this thing has a crowned roof. It is structurally supported with all these different ribs all the way to the back. And so that gives me the idea that I can do like what I grew up with. I grew up in Jersey and in New York, and everybody had a loft. Everybody had like this one room kind of warehouse. See, I lived in a warehouse. It was actually literally a warehouse where we would, it was a bike messenger, and me and the other messengers would just hung rugs from the ceiling of the warehouse to separate out the rooms. So that was it. And there was like 8 inches of space on the bottom of all the rugs. So you could see kind of into the next guy's room. So, but that's how we did it. And that's what I grew up with. I grew up with these sort of loft sort of apartments where it was just one room, a kind of a separate bathroom or a bathroom on the floor. In New York, some apartments have the bathroom on the floor. So we all shared a bathroom. So I'm not looking for that either. In van life, I need a shower. I need a bathroom. That's non-negotiable. But what is negotiable, since this is an exoskeleton and I'm not worrying about anything about structural support for the roof or the walls, and it's all made of steel, I'm thinking open. And I'm a photographer. I did autopsies. I know nothing about construction. And that's why I'm talking to you, because hopefully you know enough about interior design and construction that you can help me with this. So, and I'm heavily influenced by Asian design. I really like the way Japanese culture builds their interiors, their classical interiors, which I think would work because those wax paper walls are super thin. And I'm not insulating the bathroom. I'm not insulating the bedroom. As a matter of fact, I don't want the interior of this thing insulated from each other. One thing I noticed with the RV I used to have was that the bathroom used to get really cold. And I wasn't really fond of that. I wasn't super fond of that. So I'm okay with the heat dispersing within the vehicle. I'm not okay with the heat going outside of the vehicle, and that's where the windows are a problem. But let's start with the bathroom. Let's take a look where I'm thinking of the bathroom. Let me grab the camera. Okay, this is what I'm thinking for a bathroom. This 33 inches from here to that wall, and then this comes out. This is the driver's seat all the way back. And then the bathroom will be essentially from this window to this window and just past this silver line on the floor, because this comes out and that allows 10 more inches of space for egress, which I'm really, I don't want to, I'm not looking to change ingress or egress, safety. It's just who I am. So bathroom goes here. Bathroom and shower go here because the bed is back there and I don't want people pooping next to my bed. And if somebody comes in, I don't want to, you know. So bathroom goes here. Shower, I'm thinking like a copper tubing shower that goes up here, and then a composting toilet that would be about right there. Or you know what? We'll put the shower over here and then the toilet over here. That way you're as absolutely far away from me as possible. In this area is going to be a Victorian fainting couch. And why do I want a Victorian fainting couch? I don't know. I have no idea. But it looked cool. I'm going to give it a try. And I need to make footing attachments in the floor because thing's going to be moving at 80 miles an hour. And it's got to be able to stay where it is. Now, this area, is going to have that wax paper, that Japanese wax paper wall to divide off this front part, because there is absolutely no reason to alter or change any of this or try and insulate it. It is a waste of time. This thing is a nightmare to insulate. It is open. Even if you put a door in it, these jambs are different measurements at the top and the middle and the bottom. It's all, I don't know a lot about construction, but I know that is kind of a waste of time. And then I see other people, altering it and putting in a house door, but then that compromises visibility. And a vehicle this size, compromising visibility is just not an option for me. I don't see that as being very wise to do. So this area is going to be completely cut off because there's no recreational anything to any of this. So fainting couch, which is about 7 feet long. So that's going to be from about here to that brown thing, which comes out too. Wax paper wall, Japanese wax paper wall separating. Japanese wax paper bathroom separated here in this area up to the ceiling, and then up to the ceiling to this seam in the ceiling, down to the floor to about right there, and then that comes out, and then that puts the pooper by the front seat, because I don't want to hear you poop. Now, here are some of the limitations. This area is limited to the wood stove. Wood stove is in the middle. It is a focal point. It is a non-negotiable moving thing. This is heat to me is primary. I don't care about air conditioning. I never get too hot. So if you're coming to visit me at RTR or Quartzsite, it's going to be hot in here to normal people, but it's going to be fine in here to me, because I'm pretty sure that my dad was a salamander, and I'm pretty sure my mom was an iguana, because I just don't get hot at all. It could be 110, 120. I lived in Phoenix for 3 years. It was the best. This is going to be like this. I was going to put the kitchen over this wheel hump, but I think it's a better option to put the kitchen horizontally across. So this essentially is going to be a steel platform, probably about right there, about up to my waist. And then that's going to be the kitchen. This is going to be mounted inside in a steel cage and a steel cabinet that's vented to the outside, safety first, and that will be evident later. This is going to be a wheel well to ceiling wood cabinet, but it's not going to be a cabinet in a traditional sense. It's going to be 4 steel, box steel things that go up and down, and then there's going to be a shelf here at the bottom, because I don't want anything resting on that wood stove, on that wheel hump, and then up to all the way to the top, wood. Kindling at the top, wood in the middle, maybe a separated shelf, and then 2 wrought iron doors to keep them in. So this entire area, wheel well, is going to be wood floor to ceiling. Chopped wood. This stuff is going to be chopped wood floor to ceiling. Let's see. That's a bed. That's actually the worst possible. Don't buy this thing unless you are going to put a mattress on top of it, because I slept on that thing. When the first night, and it was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. It was like sleeping on a rubber band, a really dry rubber band. It was the worst. 2 feet? Am I in focus? Yeah, 2 feet. And I deeply regret that first night. But then we got a mattress. This area, so this is going to be kitchen. 2-burner stove. 2-burner stove over here. Sink over here. And then I don't know what's going to go here. This is going to be the office. This is where I got to get work done. From here to here is going to be all desk for the moment, is what I'm thinking. There's a lot of room in here. This is a very large vehicle. And this is going to be desk. This area is going to be this bed. Let me step back a little bit. This bed is going to flip up into the wall during the day and then down at night. I'm not going to have that giant queen size bed. If you're living in van life, you need to get out of the bed, honestly. And your bed should not be so big that it takes up most of your living space, because it's just not worth it, I don't think. So the bed's going to be on a hinge that folds up into the wall, and on the bottom of the bed is going to be a table that folds down. No, that doesn't make any sense. A table that folds down out of the bed doesn't make any sense, because there's going to be a table on that side for the desk, and then there's going to be, okay, so the bed will just flip up into the wall and then be gone. Maybe we'll put the table there just because, and then see where that goes. The bed is going to be probably to about here. This area from floor to ceiling is going to be mushroom growing in the beginning. I'm going to have sort of a hydroponics-y sort of area right there, and that's going to go floor. It's going to be 2 hardwood logs, 2 to 4 hardwood logs that go up from the floor to the ceiling, and they're going to just grow mushrooms, tomatoes, whatever else has to grow. This area, I'm strongly considering putting a floor to ceiling water container, like 200-gallon water container, up inside so it stays warm. Because if you put it down below, then I don't know, who knows. But maybe in the beginning we'll put like a container like right there and make it pretty, you know, keep the water warm and keep it from freezing and stuff like that. So water tower, hydroponics with mushrooms, work area with monitor, and let's see here, kitchen. So this is going to be kitchen. That's already heat. That's already heat. And then these 2 auxiliary heaters from the bus, this one comes out, goes below into the storage. And then that one, I'm going to turn 90 degrees so it's facing this way. So it's there, but probably not being used. Or maybe we'll move it up here somewhere. I don't know. We'll think about that. Then that's my skateboard, auxiliary transportation, deployable vehicle. You gotta have it if you're thinking of van life. And then this area, again, bathroom. I don't know what I want to do there. That could be, it has to be heat resistant, so the kitchen can go there because it's heat resistant. But what's going to go there? I don't know. Maybe we'll go clothes. Maybe I'll hang clothes right there, because it's got to have somewhere for wet clothes to dry and then dry clothes to dry. And in this area, nothing. I don't want anything there. Now, as far as design goes, I get it. I understand. I feel your pain. You want hardwood floors, but let me tell you something. I did a, 2 feet, am I in focus? 2 feet, right there. And then we're there. I did a thermal study on this truck where, let's get back into the light. I did a thermal study on this truck where, to see where the heat was leaking from. When I had the RV, I did the same thing. I took a thermal camera and walked around in the wintertime to see where the heat was escaping from. And it really helped me insulate the RV to where it needed to be insulated. I sprayed stuff in, I sealed stuff off, and I replaced weather stripping on stuff, and it worked fantastically. Saved me a ton of money in propane, which, by the way, I'm not using propane for anything except cooking, refrigeration, maybe not even refrigeration. Cooking, refrigerate, no. just cooking. I think I'm just using propane for cooking. So that giant tank will last me probably like 6 months by myself. All my kids are gone. My wife took off with her boyfriend. So it's just me in here. So that's another reason I'm going for it. My son is 14. My last kid is 14. So he's going to be gone soon. He's going to be looking for his own life in the next 2 years. And then in 4 years, he's going to be a grown up. The idea, back to the floors, the idea of a wood floor in this giant truck is a fallacy. And I hate to be the one to tell you, I have been deeply influenced by Mongolian standards by keeping warm, because you can spend all your money on propane. You can spend all your money on wood if you want to, or diesel heat. But I was deeply influenced by a fellow on TikTok, a Mongolian guy. I watched the way that it gets to -40, -50 in Mongolia. It's a huge country, but he lives in a yurt, a tent, and he's not cold at all. He sleeps fine, one blanket. So I am deeply influenced by what works, and what works is not hardwood floors. Hardwood floors are a nightmare as far as heat goes. Carpeting is a nightmare as far as keeping it clean, and you're vacuuming all the time. But if you convert van life, if you translate van life into Spanish, it loosely translates to it's time to sweep again. And with it was just constant. It's with this truck, with the RV, with the travel trailer I used to have, they were all a nightmare to keep the floors clean because the dirt's always right there. It's always right outside the window. And it's just something you got to deal with. So for me, I'd rather vacuum incessantly than be cold. And I did a thermal study on this van, and the majority of the heat, this roof, this big giant steel roof that I thought was losing heat all day, nothing. Absolutely nothing. It actually stayed frosted on the outside and was hot on the inside. These ribs on the thermal camera were absolutely frozen. Also, the thermal bridging thing is true. You cannot seam on that because the cold will just come through here. They're even cold now, and I've had the fireplace going all day. And so that's, I mean, just practicality speaking, I'm going for the thickest, shaggiest, thermally most efficient rug that I can find. And I'll do that for a couple of years. And if it sucks, great, I'll take it out. But in the meantime, this is a giant vehicle. So this whole thing, this floor, from start to finish, is a giant thermal radiator. That's all it is. It's a giant thermal radiator that takes your heat and pushes it outside to the point where the ground was hot underneath it. But that's what I found out. And that's what I'm going to go with in the beginning, is carpeting. Because wood flooring, pass. I'm going to get that big giant insulation, big thick, I think it's like 2-inch insulation, put that down, and one giant piece, and then put the carpet, the wood subfloor over that, and then put the carpet bottom part, and then put the carpet on top of that. That makes the most sense. But that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's what I sit in here. That's what I sit in here by myself and think about all day. So let me know what you think. Any ideas? What would you do with the school bus? What are some of your ideas for 40-foot long giant home on wheels?